Good morning. I'm going to start off with some tones so we can keep on. And just kind of adjusting here. Just bear just a moment. My apologies. So today we're talking about some grounding tones here. The holidays. As we know, there's a lot of pressures and demands placed upon us, whether it's through commercialization, family obligations. One of the things that I have been thinking about is how can we shift our perspective and not lose the magic of what the holidays can mean to us, but how can we change our perspective without stealing who we are and maintain our authentic self. So for me, I've noticed the more I do my personal work, that the more I tend to move. I've noticed a shift in my perspective of the holidays in the past few months, past few years actually, and more away from the commercial aspects. You know, I used to be one of those Black Friday, get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go get those Black Friday deals. And it doesn't work for me anymore. I've been, called to employ different strategies that I feel continues to evolve as time goes on. So, the latest iPhone or the latest gadget or the latest game, somehow as a society, we have equated gift giving with worth and value, and more from a materialistic standpoint. So we have lost touch with ourselves, that so much so that we equate the holidays with stuff. Okay, and I'm here to show you how do we get here. Well, first of all, how do we get here? The holidays are here, but you don't have to fall into that commercialization, those demands, those pressures, this stuff. Okay, it's not about getting the best present, the most expensive present. Right now, I feel our biggest challenge, I know some of you have actually pulled a couple cards today, by the way, for us to focus on. One is, I don't know if you can see it, but surrender, frustration. Okay, and when I pulled that card today, I kind of chuckled because those that I've been seeing out and about, as well as in my office, I've been feeling a lot of frustration. Again, holidays don't have to be about things and stuff, and I'm going to show you how to shift that, okay? The other card that I pulled is the Lion card, and I found that to be pretty amazing, considering that Time magazine yesterday chose the women that spoke out against very powerful men on abuse as their persons of the year. That took a lot of courage. So I'm going to ask you to really kind of look at and reevaluate what the holidays mean. So it's going to take courage because, in order for you to be more authentic and who you want to be and who you are, it's going to take courage because you're going to debunk everything that society tells you you are and what you need to do. So one of the biggest challenges I find is that I heard this from Eckhart Tolle, and it was pretty profound, and I had to kind of stop and think about what it really meant. And he says that we know that the drug epidemic that we have in this country is profound and it's really out of control. But what if I said that there's a greater addiction than the drug epidemic, and we all have it? And that addiction is the addiction to thoughts. Okay? We all have these addictions to thinking. We cannot stop thinking. It's a drug that represents the pseudo, now think about this, the pseudo part of ourself. So stay with me here because I'm getting to a few points, but I kind of need you to open your horizons a little bit so you get to see. I'm trying to tell you, in a sense, to shift your perspective just a moment, okay? Um, these thoughts are generated in the mind, and there's another concept is, are those thoughts really our own? Now, when we think about the holidays, are those belief systems because that's what we feel here in the pit of our soul? Or are those belief systems as a part of commercialization, family upbringing, religious, all those different things? Okay, things for you to think about. And one of the things, if you're saying, you're tired of the same old, then I'm going to ask you again, have a little courage. Stand your ground. Surrender the frustration. Okay? It doesn't have to be that hard. So my hope for you today is to create light and understanding, to create this positive shift from what we perceive things to be. And, I love the holidays for one aspect. It's about caring, it's about love, it's about community, okay? And it doesn't mean that we don't have to continue that, okay, in giving. So, but considering what's happening in the universe right now, so much that has been perceived to go wrong. I mean, we can look at all these different things and have a whole conversation just on the political climate, the earth climate, all these different things, and perceive all these things that could be possibly going wrong right now. And with that said, I do want to say so much has been gifted to us in the form of awakening, growth, and lessons. Like I said, look at what happened with this abuse epidemic that a lot of us that have worked in the abuse communities have been crying out loud for a very long time on deaf ears, and it's finally kind of being heard, and I'm very happy about that, and I feel there's a big shift here. Growth many times. I always say that, you know what, healing is worth it, but it sucks because you have to get real, you have to get raw, you have to be able to face those darkest parts of yourself. But growth many times is not easy, and sometimes results in what we label metaphorical death. Okay, so when we understand that, we shift our perspective just a little, we shift our perspective to see the world from a different lens, and we might just surprise ourselves. So this is kind of where I'm getting here with the holidays. If you feel yourself very frustrated, disconnected, maybe you're starting to get some health issues, and you're not sure how you're going to be able to get it all done because it's the facade, it's the appearance of what you feel you need to do, okay? Instead of just being. So just for a moment, I want you just to park your thoughts just for a moment and just open and listen. So here's one call to action tip. One, why not give the gift instead of the latest iPhone, the latest game, the latest gadget, the Amazon Echo, the Fitbits, whatever you want to say. How about we give the gift of healing, wholeness, and self-care? That's really what this year has been focused about, right? The better we take care of ourselves, we can care for everybody else. So how about we give that gift? How about we give the gift of cooking a meal for somebody, or maybe helping them with something, or asking if you are in the need, I need help. How about instead of giving me stuff, how about I need some help in these areas here, okay? Give the gift of love that will keep giving long after the holidays pass. That's the key. Okay? When you give somebody the gift of healing, that will never be forgotten, ever. A gadget, those change every day. So ask your loved ones for maybe a gift certificate, maybe for an upcoming event, a class, or a certain product, or whatever you feel that will help you in your own self-care, okay, or a service. And I know for myself, we do offer gift certificates, but it doesn't have to necessarily be through me. It can be through anybody. Okay, this is just to kind of show you that these are things that do work. Okay, so call to action number 2. Try this. Do a random act of kindness this holiday season and help be part of that shift of the global consciousness, one frequency and vibration at a time. It doesn't have to be much. It doesn't have to be much. It could be just something simple as take out your trash for your neighbor. It could be somebody you know, and maybe you don't even know them very well, but they broke their leg and they have to go to a doctor's appointment, and they don't want to ask for help because they know you're busy. Maybe just taking that time and taking them to a doctor's appointment. Pay somebody's, if you don't have the time, how about you just, and you work in the city, how about you just take off a parking ticket off somebody's car and just pay it randomly? Okay? How about you bake a meal for somebody who might be lonely or alone or elderly or sick? Or maybe they're just grief-stricken this time of year and they just can't seem to get out of that funk. Open the door for somebody and just say, good morning. Good morning and thank you can go so far, more than you realize. How about giving up your seat on a bus or a train, to somebody? Volunteer at a homeless shelter or a soup kitchen. These are just things of how you can pay it forward. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be big. We all have busy schedules. So there's means for everybody, regardless of how busy you are. It's paying it forward. Okay? Call to action number 3. The holidays sucks for a lot of people. Suicide rate during the holidays is at an all-time high, and not everybody is celebrating. And some of the categories of people that I know I work with, there's protective parents, especially mothers, who are told to flee abusive relationships, but they are not told that they have up to an 80% chance of losing custody and never seeing their kids ever again. Those mothers grieve every day as if it just started every day. So how about we bring them in, maybe invite them over as part of your family Christmas holiday celebration. It don't have to be much. You don't have to cry, but just knowing and inviting them and saying, your home is welcome to mine. Please join us. They may say no, and that's okay too, but at least you show that you cared. Okay? How about, by the way, just so you know, with these protective parents, this is an epidemic, and I am hoping that the next wave of the Me Too's address the epidemic of domestic violence by proxy in family courts when abuse victims speak up against the perpetrators. There are 58,000 children every year being wrongfully moved. There's a term that they call legally trafficked by way of family courts and given to abusers every year. Okay. The other group that isn't celebrating are those that may have lost a loved one. Okay. Especially with this current drug epidemic, there are many parents that are grieving the loss of their children, something that we felt we would never see. Usually we would pass away before our children, but many parents are experiencing at great lengths loss of their own children. So this is where you want to be just aware. Be careful you don't gloat, okay? I know it's great to be happy, but be careful gloating, especially on social media. Be aware that there are many that are in a lot of pain because maybe they lost a child, a parent, a spouse. Be mindful of that. Also, lend a shoulder, but don't lecture. Let them be ready to speak on their own, and don't act as if you know everything, because you don't. And every story is different, every situation is different. But when you can do is you can surprise them with a meal. Just knock on their door. Say, hey, I was thinking about you today. Thought I'd bring a meal for you. Okay? Just to let you know you're not alone. And I'm here if you ever want to talk. Do a chore. I know there are many that are suffering with end of life, that are struggling with just living on their own, and they are trying so hard to do everything on their own, but maybe just show up to those individuals who may have some very debilitating diseases or even cancer, and just do a chore for them. Just do it. Take the dog for a walk, vacuum the carpets, wash the floors. Doesn't take long. Most do not care in that position. They don't care about the material world, but they do crave a shoulder. They do crave maybe somebody that cares enough to come over and help. That's the greatest gift. It doesn't take money. Call to action tip number 4. And this is something many of you heard me preach many times over this year. Self-care, 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 self-care. Do I make myself clear? Don't say yes to others, places, things, commitments, whatever, if it means saying no to your own well-being, your wellness, and your own care. It's that simple. Don't martyr yourself. And we'll go more into this, because when I started going into breaking this down, I decided to do a second video just on self-care tips. And there's 20 that I'm going to share with you in a subsequent video. So stay tuned for that. Call to action tip number 5. And this is part of an announcement as well, and hoping that you would want to be a part of this. I would like to create a scholarship fund for those that would like to, one, either improve their own quality of life, their health, and or to be able to give back to the community. And I have 2 people in mind right now that I would like to help take their path into a better direction, that are, one is a survivor of domestic violence who is faced with the onslaught of family court abuse. So the funds are very limited, but would like to further her education in studying, things like Reiki and how it can help trauma survivors. And there's one other person as well that also gives back to a lot in the community. So I would love to help them make their holiday wish come true and help them, as well as others. I mean, I'm getting more individuals now, including rape survivors and child abuse survivors, as well as domestic violence. And sometimes when they are in a financial pinch, I would like to be able to offer scholarships for them, either for services or classes. It would be done through the other organization, through Massachusetts Survivors Outreach, which is an organization I had started back in 2011 that helps provide healing and holistic health and healing services for survivors of domestic violence, child abuse, and sex abuse. So if you would like to give and help, and I just want to be clear, none of this money goes to me. Whatever you contribute, I would like to contribute 100% to these 2 individuals to start with and make their dream come true. And if you would like to be part of that, you would make 2 individuals I know extremely happy. This modality changed my life as a survivor of abuse myself. And if you're interested in learning more, I can send links. Just let me know if you'd like to hear a little bit more about my story. And I can send you links with some YouTube videos I did called Today I Bless My Junk. But one of the things I've learned is that the healthcare system is a little broken in helping people with trauma. They're starting to get a little better with it nowadays. Right now, I'm 12 years into my journey. And I have found this modality, as well as a few others, that is probably why I do the work I do now. It's not that I might say, oh, I'm going to go do these spiritually based healing therapies, and just because I want to. No, it's because I started doing it for myself, and before I know it, people were enjoying it as well, and it kind of just took a life of its own. But one of the things that I would like to do is to help others that may not have this ability. And if you would like to be a part of that, that would be great. Any donation of any kind would be appreciated. But my goal is in the next week or so, I would like to try to raise $700 to help these two individuals. And I know it would really change their life if you were able to help me make it possible for them. Their accreditation training would be certified through the Jikin and Reiki Institute in Kyoto, Japan. And that would be very helpful. So if you would like to be part of that, please let me know. So now what I would like to do, so those are some of the tips that I just want to share with you. There's so many more, and like I said in the subsequent video, I will be doing more on just self-care tips for the holidays. So I hope you would join me for that, but I'm going to close out now with some Tibetan bowls. And don't forget, frustration, remember the first card I pulled? Okay, I don't know if you can see it. Frustration doesn't open any doors. We need to surrender that. We need to let go. And sometimes the frustration of what we feel in one thing may be just a surface of the frustration of something much deeper that needs to be healed or let go or released. So be mindful of that, because these frustrations actually block our progress versus help our progress. And be a lion. Okay, have a little courage. And I mean not your pseudo self, but really your authentic self. Have the courage to stand, speak out, stand on your own 2 feet, and have the courage to stand and speak your truth. So you ready for some Tibetan bowls? Take a deep breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep breathing in, breathing out. Knowing that even if you have to say, breathing in, breathing out, it brings your mind and your body back to presence. Presence, a lot of things change. Angers dissipate. Worries dissipate. Stress. Frustration. So give this time for yourself. This is for you. Enjoy. Let the vibrations carry you. Breathing in, breathing out. You might even feel some tensions coming to the surface. Breathing in, breathing out, and releasing. Go. Trust. Give this moment to yourself. Because you are worthy. You are deserving. I hope I opened you today to an interest to the holidays. Hopefully we can let go of the stress, pressures, demands. Let it all go. At the end of the day, if it doesn't fit, and it doesn't fit who you are, let it go. Trust in who you are. listed 5 calls to action, so if you came on late, you may want to replay this afterwards, including one being a holiday scholarship fund for MASO, which I'll put a link for you. Concluding with the goals. And my name is Laura. I'm with Human Spirit. My phone number is 857-880-0365. I'm here to help you illuminate your soul, guide you on your path, help remove toxicity, restore wholeness. Offer a variety of spiritually based holistic therapies and enrichment. If there's any way we can help you bring more balance and peace. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to reach out. And don't be afraid to take care of yourself. Self-care is not selfish. May you go in love. May you go in peace. Kyo Dakiwa, Karuna, Shimpai Suna, Kanchaste, Kyo Hagame, Etoni Shinsatsuni, Kyo Dakiwa, Karuna, Shimpai Suna, Kanchaste, Kyo Hagame, Etoni Shinsatsuni, Kyo Dakiwa, Karuna, Shimpai Suna, Kanchaste, Kyo Hagame, Etoni Shinsatsuni. Arigato. Thank you.